IVM.
I love you like I hate you.
Like I love you, तेरे प्यार में कर दिया
Diya
दीवाना.
deewana,
This could have been a great biscuit ad also, by the way,
What?
because Amir
Hello.
Khan at one point he goes,
Hello.
shake that
Hello.
biscuit, baby, shake it for me, yeah, yeah. Oh, you sing also. Can you please show us something?
So it goes something like this. I love this podcast like I hate this podcast in brackets. So it's like I love this podcast in brackets. I hate this podcast. Hello and welcome to Has It Aged Well. That line was from the film Delhi Belly from 2011. Joining me today is my co-host Urjita Vani. Hi Urjita.
I love this
From her
podcast like I love this podcast into bracket.
bracket without bracket. In any case, you love this podcast. Nice. And joining us from Pune, I believe, is someone who has been on this show before. But since the last time he was here, his cultural cachet has gone up in a huge way. Since last time he was here, I think he had some 2,500 Instagram followers. But now, as I see his Instagram account, he has around 13,000 Instagram followers. One of his Instagram reels has gone super viral, and we'll talk about it. So please welcome to the show. It's the one and only Mr. Karan Mirchandani. Hello, hi Karan.
Woohoo!
Hello. That's Sir Karan Mirchandani too now.
Sir, I
I've
apologize. Yes,
changed.
And I just want to say, Abbas, I'm so glad we called him before he put out that Kuch Kuch Hota Hai reel. So now he knows that we called him for his talent, okay, and not for his followers. You know what,
Yeah.
Karan?
that's
Actually,
true.
Abbas had asked me when I had suggested your name that Karan ऐसे ऐसे smoke कर रहा था अब्बास. क्या खास
What?
बात है उस लॉन्डे में? पुणे में रहता है वो. पॉडकास्ट करेगा. Oh,
Uh,
देखते हैं हम भी क्या खास बात है उसमें. So that's what he said. And
no,
today,
I
let me
did
tell
get
you
that
what.
vibe
I
from
was,
Abbas when he met me. He
I,
was
Yeah.
I
like
was, I
leaving
was.
me.
That's right. I was sitting like Vijay Raaz, and Urjita came to me like, "Bhand chod, ye podcast karega."
Lodu. He would have said Lodu, to be fair.
Lodu.
Very
I mean,
important.
Lodu.
Man,
Okay,
I
in
could talk about
case
Vijay Raj saying Lodu for the
we
entire
will, we will.
episode, but
Yeah, that's going to
yes,
be the
yeah,
entire second half of this show. Just Vijay
yeah.
Raj's Lodu. Okay, in case you guys don't know what reel we're talking about, Karan is the guy whose reel you all have been sharing, which is about how Kuch Kuch Hota Hai is his favorite murder mystery. And this particular reel, it's at 12.2 million views on the day of recording. Karan Johar himself has shared it, and a lot more celebrities. So, Karan, how did the idea come up? Do you just tell us your Insta celeb status that you're going through right now? That
This is
Has It
so
Aged Well
weird.
did not contribute to at all.
This is like, yeah, my life obviously has changed. People stop me in the streets. They're always
Yeah.
like, "Hey, man, are you that guy?" They usually mean because I look like seven other people in Pune, so that's usually what they mean. But
Right.
it's so dumb. I am almost. This is gonna sound so weird, but I'm almost a little annoyed because this took
Hmm.
me like I wish it was like a work of labor. I wish it took me hours and hours to make, but it took me like 5 minutes. And there's content that I've put out where I'm like, I've thought about this. There's stuff that I've written where I'm like, I put in a lot of work, and no one cared. No one cared. There's like nothing. It's just for me at this point. And for some reason, this reel is just. It's still I mean, look, it's great, but also you realize that people really hate you. Also, it's amazing. I had a
Right.
great time the
Yeah.
first few days. There's those first few days where your reel's doing well and everyone's very nice to you and very
Yeah.
complimentary of
Yeah.
you. Then you
Yeah.
you realize your reel has left that circle and gone to another realm, which probably is a good sign. When people are like,
Yeah.
"Hey, chup karna bhosadi ke," then you're like, "Whoa, 1 second, sir, this is a reel. You felt this strongly." Like people are like, "Fuck
Yeah.
off, you dick," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah.
it's a
Because
reel, dude."
now, because now the thing is that लोगों का ना नजरिया अलग रहता है. The moment they see 10,000 likes on a reel, they are like क्या खास बात है इसमें? They don't go
Yeah,
कि
yeah,
oh
yeah,
क्या
yeah.
खास बात है. It's like क्या खास बात है इसमें. So that is the perspective they are bringing, and that is
They
why
almost
they
lean
just
back.
view your reel with hate. They
हाँ,
are like कि
Ah,
ये साला
ये
privileged. So
yeah.
that's
इसको
the
10 million मिला है हट साला.
yeah,
I also
yeah.
love comments about my looks and nitpicking things wrong with my face. It's great. Love hearing that. Keep them coming.
But
But
Anything.
yeah,
Karan Johar shared this from one Karan to other.
Yo, that
Karan
was
Johar himself shared it. So basically, what
uh,
I'm trying to say is to this Karan who's on the show right now, will we be seeing you in a cameo in Rocky or Rani ki Prem Kahani?
I would honestly, like, you know how people want to maintain
Have
their
you been cast
integrity.
as the Have you been cast as the lead for Student of the Year 3?
Dude, I
that's
would,
more
that would be the
likely.
dream. That would be the
That is
dream.
more.
So I will fully, like, people will be kind of high and mighty about this and be like, oh, I don't really care about, Karan Johar sharing my reel because I'm above that. It's not my type of cinema. One, very much my type of cinema. Two, I will fully sell out. And in my reviews, will say that Rocky and Rani is like one of the greatest films of all time. I will talk about it like it is
Nice.
our version of Godfather, just so I can get cast in Student of the Year 3.
This
This
is
is what I'm
before
going to do
sunrise,
now.
before sunset, all of that combined. This
All
is
of that.
after, yeah, this is after sunrise, after sunset.
This this niche indie film that needs my review to help it.
This is the Romeo
Yes,
Yeah,
Juliet of our times. This is a
Mr.
great
Johar,
I
Karan
yeah,
will
cultural,
do
yeah.
Karan will do anything to be in your movie. Anything in caps.
anything.
Abbas always,
Okay.
always with the wrong
What?
count.
I'm just saying
Ju-
anything as in he'll bring you coffee.
This,
He'll do
yeah.
he'll do your laundry if you want him to be in your movie.
Just to mention this quickly, right? Like when I
Yeah.
genuinely, when I saw a friend sent me the fact that Karan Johar shared my reel. This is
Hmm.
I actually stopped someone mid conversation. Like I was like, hey man, I know we're talking about work, but I just need a
But
second.
fuck
And
you.
he was like,
Yeah.
he was like, fuck you.
The Dharma CEO has just shared my reel. I need to
I
check this out.
I was like Veer Das, like I quit my job and then I just left.
yeah.
Okay, Karan. So before you go on to bigger heights of fame, we'll just like to bring you down a notch to talk about this film called Delhi Belly
Wait,
from
I was being very humble
2011.
about it. What do you mean? I was
Bring
very
you
humble.
down a notch. Wow.
I'm not like charging my friends to hang out with me anymore or anything like that. I tried
That's
that.
true.
They're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
paying,
yeah.
so it's
It's
fine.
okay,
Yeah.
man. Your check is already in the mail. Can we do the show now?
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Let's get to it then. Okay, that was good. That's why I was stalling.
Okay,
I just
so
wanted to make sure. Yeah.
yeah. So this film has to do with a Khan, not the Khan that Karan Johar is very fond of. It's the other Khan. It's produced by Amir Khan Productions, and this film when it came out, it was the talk of the town because it was very new. It was very edgy. It was very. I mean, the song "DK Bose" was the first thing that they released, and it already created like a lot of controversy. I saw this in the theater thrice and I thought, oh my god, cinema has changed, guys. Now it's all gonna be like this. It's all gonna be edgy, cutting edge cinema, and people will talk in English, and we can curse in movies. And I thought everything had changed. Not everybody was happy with this movie, but I, for one, remember watching this and loving it. So I was but it's been 12 years to this movie, so I was very very skeptical to revisit it. I'd like to know from you guys, what did you like? Give me a short take of what you guys thought while watching the film this time. Urjita, you must have been very young when it came out originally. When did you watch it, and what did you feel when you saw it again this time?
In fact, I watched it like 2, 3 years ago. On
Okay,
my laptop for the first time because many
right.
people were talking about it, and I was like, I think uska koi to anniversary tha Delhi Belly ka tabhi, and everybody, Film Company and all the channels were talking about it. So I thought, let's give it a shot. And I remember liking it, like, oh, this is too good, because I remember I watched Go Goa Gone and Delhi Belly back to back, and I remember
Uh,
liking the former little too much. मतलब Go Goa Gone मैं खत्म भी नहीं कर पा रही थी, but Delhi Belly was like, fuck, this is very nice. That was just like, of course, दोनों equally problematic थे. There were problematic scenes in both, but Delhi Belly, for some
hmm.
reason, it just like, it was there. The screenplay was very nice. It was very crisp.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Karan?
I think I watched this in theaters. I was like 17, 18. I remember
Mhm.
bunking school
Perfect age.
to go.
Yeah.
So and it's like the only time I bunked school, so I remember it because I was a good kid, unfortunately. Um, but I remember doing that for this movie specifically, and just the laughter, like the scenes that, like, I will still remember the reaction in the theater because of
Mhm.
especially all the poop stuff. For some reason, like
Yeah,
every
yeah,
time
yeah.
he would hold his stomach, people would just lose it because they knew, like, oh my god, oh, it's gonna go wrong again. I will say on rewatch, like now I'm a little like the thing that you said. I think the thing that works about this film still 12 years later is
Mhm.
the strong writing and the clever lines and like the kind of
Right.
like subversion of regular tropes. Like, you know how they'll take a regular trope and they'll flip it on its head, especially with the Vijay
Mm.
Raaz stuff. And
Mhm.
but the stuff that doesn't work is the more sexist and like I just feel that some of the provocative stuff actually doesn't hold up
Yeah.
as well as some of the actual like clever funny writing.
Right,
So
right, right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. So I broadly, by and large, still loved the film when I watched it this time around. It was less problematic than I thought it would be. Like you
Yeah.
said, the basics of the film still hold up. I'm still never bored. I'm still really impressed by the fact that the film is has a running time of 100 minutes, and they're able to cram so much in just 100 minutes. So many characters, so many situations. The music still bangs. I think it's absolutely. I'd forgotten how great the music is.
Yeah,
Uh,
too
the
good.
So good.
the
Oh
the,
my, I've
ba-
been obsessed
the
with a few songs since
Yeah.
I watched it again. Oh, it's
I
been
think the
great.
background score also really works. But
Mm.
I want to talk to you guys. So let me just describe the film in a nutshell. So it's about three guys who are living in a beaten down apartment in Delhi, played by Imran Khan, Kunal Roy Kapoor, and Veer Das. I mean, Imran Khan is a journalist who's trying to. Basically, all three of them are trying to make it big in the city, and there's a white Russian guy who has to deliver a collection of diamonds to a
Vladimir.
gangster.
Yeah.
Vladimir. I want to come to Vladimir. I discovered something which I never did back then. He has to deliver diamonds to a gangster, and his mode of transport is an air hostess who happens to be Imran Khan's girlfriend. And at the same time, Kunal Roy Kapoor's character eats something off the Delhi streets and gets really bad diarrhea, which is the other reason I think this film is called Delhi Belly. And he has to send a stool sample. And uh, I mean, to describe Akshay Kumar's great meme where things exchange with one another, the gangster gets the poop and the clinic gets the diamonds, and then the rest of the movie is this chase to get the diamonds back and basically save their lives as well. So it's a very
Yeah.
like a very caper sort of like Guy Ritchie type of film, comedy of errors. Matlab something went wrong somewhere, and now it's just a big chase. So I think on that level, yeah, the story and the plot really hold well. I was reading a review of this film where it criticized the usage of English. What did you guys think of the fact that I think about a good 70 to 80% of this film is in English? There was a lot of
Yeah.
discussion and debate that happened back then that do people really talk like this, English speaking people in India, do they really talk like this? I think on a rewatch I thought there's nothing really that stood out to me, and because the characters who would speak in Hindi are given Hindi parts, and the characters who would like us who usually talk to each other in English are talking in English. So I didn't really think there was anything out of place here as far as the English part of it goes. What did you
I thought
guys
it was
think? Did
quite
you ever
realistic.
feel? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like I thought
So
that whole bit was very realistic. Like the fact that, and also like the Vijay Raj interactions with Imran Khan, for example, I love that he makes
yeah,
fun of it. He's like, "Hey, barrister," like because as soon as Imran Khan speaks, it's like full English, and this guy's like, "Ah, shit."
yeah,
So they also make
yeah.
reference to it. They're very aware of like
Mm.
that world. I also think like sometimes it's weird, no, when a character you think would definitely speak in English in Bollywood films speaks in Hindi, because you're like,
Yeah,
okay,
mhm.
yeah.
I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like these New
The
York.
landlord, right? Maybe
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
landlord speaking in English, it did make sense for me.
Some
I
of
feel
it
like
could be weird.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I
No,
feel like this has
I
happened.
kind of buy. So just on the landlord part, I think I buy that because that happens, right? Our landlords, in order to connect with the tenant, they try and speak in their language. Also, he's trying to get rent out of him. So I
But
get
Yeah,
that.
he's also speaking to his brother in English, if I'm not wrong.
I think that
He's
was in
speaking
I
with
don't know.
Hindi.
his brother also in English. Yeah.
I don't remember. I just remember the one part where his brother calls him Shriman Randi Bas. So that was not. That was
which
a
which
It's
gem
like
of a
got
line.
which got translated to whore lover in subtitles.
oh my god, what a
Dude,
some of the
the
lines
subtitles.
in this, dude.
I watched this on Netflix and the subtitle. I mean, it's really weird because the film is in the English, but still the English subtitling is not the same. Like when Bhag
Hmm.
DK Bose plays in the movie, the subtitles just say "Run, bitch, run," and I'm like, that's not the same as Bhag DK Bose. But Urjita, you were
So
saying something,
we have had movies in Bollywood जिसमें पूरा वो English में बात करे, like Finding Fanny, like अभी Delhi Belly.
right?
I can't think of
Right.
more examples right now, but like even Bride and Prejudice. That was not a
Yeah, yeah,
Bollywood movie, but even in that movie, like the context is similar, like a typical Indian family talking to each other in English. And
in
abhi
English, yeah.
in English, yeah. And for some reason, it's like अभी मैंने भी हम लोग भी इंग्लिश में बात करते हैं, and I have seen people who cannot speak in Hindi. दे लाइक अपने
Hmm.
बैंड्रा के लोग जिनको नहीं आती है हिंदी एंड बट स्टिल दे आर
Shots
नॉट
fired.
लाइक हाँ बट फिर भी वो ऐसे बात नहीं करेंगे कि ओ बॉल्स यू आर डिफरेंट बॉल्स तुम अलग हो लाइक ऐसा ऐसा इतना अजीब नहीं लाइक अभी कौन सा वो लव स्टोरीज आया था लव स्टोरीज का सीक्वल
Love stories.
उसमें
Right.
विजय राज वाज टॉकिंग लाइक दैट एंड everybody had a problem with that because it's like तू अपनी पुरानी बीवी से मिला है पुरानी सॉरी एक्स बीवी से मिला है योर
Hmm.
फर्स्ट रिएक्शन इज कि balls you are not her ऐसे कौन बात करता है यार so I think that is the
Ha.
problem the difference between written English and spoken English for some reason like we are not able to bridge the gap I think that's where the
When
problem
they're like
arises कि ये
bastard,
हाँ
bastard, you don't
yeah
understand. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, yeah. Sometimes I
yeah
think it's a little
The
too much. I think being Cyrus had this also. I remember Saf talking about that. I'm always talking about Saf, turns out. But
yeah,
in the film Being Cyrus, which was like one of the first English fully like mostly spoken in English,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it was
yeah.
in such like intense written English over spoken English that it
Hmm.
sounded weird. Even like Seth said,
yeah
delivering some of those dialogues was strange because you're like, okay, I
yeah
don't know
Hmm.
about this. I think Delhi Belly is a hybrid a little bit. It's helped by the fact that
Mhm.
some characters do speak in Hindi. If
Hmm.
Vijay Raaz
Hmm.
spoke in English, that would be weird. Like
yeah
if
So Vijay Raj
it would be so
he does
strange.
speak to Shehnaz at one point in English on over the phone,
But he's
but I
pretending,
think
right? He's pretending to
he's
be
pretending
the manager. So
Yeah.
exactly,
He's
and it
speaking a
works
manager
because
speak.
yeah.
but when he's speaking to her, you know that this it's not like this guy does not know English. He knows that
Hmm.
his dominance comes from speaking in Hindi because of that gangsterness comes out of Hindi.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when he's talking to Shanaz, he's like, "Yes, madam. Where did you make the drop? You see, all of us are busy people. You know, can you recollect?" So he knows how to get his message across. But just coming back to the English Hindi point, I think the one film where this is also not a Bollywood film, but the one film where it really feels out of place to me, some characters speaking in English was Slumdog Millionaire, where
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
characters from backgrounds where English just wouldn't work when they speak in like while during the interrogation, Irfan Khan's character is talking to the guy he's interrogating in English. I'm like, I don't think many interrogations in India in police
Yeah.
stations are
Like
happening.
randomly they will throw in words that you don't use. Like, oh, ऐसे
Yeah,
एक माँ अपनी बेटी को बोल रही है, oh come on honey, I don't have time for your shenanigans. कोई माँ shenanigans नहीं बोल रही. Nobody is using shenanigans that casually in a conversation. Oh my god, this auto rickshaw. Oh my god, this Mumbai is so paradoxical. Nobody is saying paradoxical. ऐसा कोई like these words we all know we
Yeah.
are aware of these words we use them in our Instagram captions but nobody uses them
yeah,
in
yeah.
our regular conversation
It is
so
very like so
There's a
I went to a Catholic school and like there is a
humble brag.
vibe in like in the the vibe in the like in the speech and drama class in the theater like plays that you did, the delivery was
Mhm.
always like that so I feel like a lot of
Mm.
people that went to those schools also wrote things that sound like this now. Like it's a
yeah
pipeline
Mm.
of like you went to this school, you learned speaking like this, you think that that's how real people talk, and then you
hmm.
make it in a movie. This is like we need to
yeah
Yeah,
figure
yeah,
this
yeah.
out. This was happening in the 2000s.
But I'll tell you what, there's lines like this one where I think it totally works, the English and Hindi fusion, where Veer Das is looking for his pants, and Kunal Roy Kapoor is sitting on it, and then he just gets up and he gets the pant, and then Veer is like, "Dude, your gand is like a solar eclipse."
Yeah. I think
That was
Veerdas,
funny as fuck.
weirdly, I think Veerdas does it the best. Like for me, for some
Yeah.
reason, because I know that this is how Veerdas kind of speaks. Like
Actually
I
talks, yeah,
think,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I thought
yeah.
I thought
So it
Kunal Roy
worked
Kapoor
for
was
me.
also really
Yeah,
he like it didn't seem out of place there either. So I think yeah, and they're
yeah,
able to switch very well. Like when Kunal Roy Kapoor is talking to the sex worker in the brothel,
Mm.
that time he's not using English. So I buy
Yeah.
into that. Yeah.
Can we get into
Okay, we'll
that?
Yeah.
take
Can
a
we get
quick.
into that scene? Is that a weird point to get into this scene?
There is a hilarious story that Kunal Roy
So
Kapoor narrated when he was on Cyrus's podcast. So I'll tell you about that. We'll discuss all of
yeah.
that and more on the other side of this break. If you're watching us on YouTube, please press the subscribe button, like this video, and share it with anyone who you think will enjoy it. Check out the other shows on IVM Pop also. But for right now, stick with Delhi Belly and Has It Aged Well. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Hi, this is Cyrus Rogan Brocha, pyar se Rogues. I've come up with a brand new idea. It's a premium product called Club Cyrus Says. It's an offer open just for you. Let me tell you about the product. We've got exclusive Cock and Bull episodes just for you. That's right, just for you. That means others don't get to see it. Also, you get exclusive footage, extra bits, the uncut version of the interviews with celebrities. And these are huge celebrities, not small-time celebrities. Only the big guys come on the show. So you'll get the exclusive bits that nobody else gets. The extra tidbits, special stuff, uncensored stuff you don't want to put out. That's just for you. And for our audio listeners, you get special ad-free content and early access to interviews and sessions and podcasts which nobody else will get. You'll get it first. You're the first people. You're Neil Armstrong. You're Edmund Hillary. You're whoever discovered India. You're that. And by becoming an exclusive member of Club Cyrus Says, you get the power. We transfer the power to you and you become the producers and you will decide what content or what happens on that show. You are the masters and we are we can't use words like that. People who work for the masters, basically. So guys, get in. Special audio features include, I forget. I can't remember what the
And we're back on Has It Aged Well with Urjita and Karan, who you will soon see in Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani. I was gonna say Rocky and Mayur. I'm like, no, those are the food guys, not Rocky and Mayur.
You might find me there
Um,
also. Who knows? I'm everywhere
I
now.
might find you there
You know?
also. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Vladimir character who I was going to talk about, the actor's name is Kim Bodnia, and this time when I watched the film starts with him, I'm like, where have I seen this guy before? And there's this very good, okay, I don't know where you've seen him from, Urjita, but there's this very good Swedish series called The Bridge, which is called Broen, and in English it was made as The Bridge. And this guy is the lead in that. It's a great show. It was remade in
Oh.
English, and I saw that in like 2017 or 2018, and that's where he's from. And it really, I was like, wow, like here he's doing this small part where he's just delivering diamonds, but he's the lead in his own series. Where did you see him, Urjita?
Killing Eve. Killing Eve, which
Oh
is
yeah,
like
he's
a
in
Oh,
Killing Eve as
show.
well.
Yes, yes. When
oh,
I
yes,
looked,
yeah.
when I saw him, I was like, wait, this feels very wrong to see this guy here. I couldn't believe. मुझे याद ही नहीं आ रहा इसको कहाँ पे देखा. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me check the cast of Delhi Belly. And then I was like, oh fuck, Killing Eve. He was the guy
He's her
in
boss,
Killing
right?
Eve. He's the
He's her
boss.
boss, I
Yes,
think. Yeah.
he's the
Oh
boss.
shit.
Yeah.
You
No
went
way.
from Akshat Verma to Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, I
That's a
didn't.
downgrade. That's
Huh?
fine. I'm kidding. I'm
Oh
kidding.
wow. Okay.
I'm kidding. I love Killing Eve,
Hot
man. I
takes.
just love Belly Belly so
Hot
much.
take right there.
I
What's
love
that
this
guy?
guy, this actor. This actor is kind of great because there's like a scene where he calls Shehnaz's character, Shehnaz from Ishq Vishk, by the way, who
Yeah.
ends up in
Shehnaz
who's also
also
in like
Hey,
from
a
Home
you
Hollywood
Alone.
don't,
film.
guys. You don't need to introduce Shanaz to me. I'm gonna give this when we come to the final rating. I'm gonna give this film a full extra rating just because Shanaz is in this. But please continue, Karan.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I
You
think
Glad
might
you
have
cleared
to
Shanaz.
that
I
call
away.
mean,
her.
listen, dude.
Uh,
I've been trying so hard. She will one day be on the show. I give you my word. But
Mhm.
like Shehnaz has always been hot ever since I've been watching her as a nubile adolescent. But I think and she's still absolutely gorgeous and stunning and just all the fantastic things. But I think in this movie she's probably at her hottest. That's all I had to say.
That's
Shehnaz, if you're
well.
watching this, that doesn't mean you're not hot right now. You are. But I think in this phase of your life, I was like, oh my god, Shehnaz is a goddess.
I'm worried about your usage of nubile. Like you just said nubile like it was like a regular word
What?
that people
I was
say.
like barely
Nubile
12,
adolescent.
12.
Nubile adolescent. He just threw that out there. It was
ये
great.
ऐसा लग रहा है लास्ट टाइम ये शब्द मैंने बायोलॉजी टेक्स्ट बुक में पढ़ा था.
Listen, I gave
Nubile.
Hamtum a full extra point because Shehnaz had like 2 scenes in it, and I was like, she elevates this text just by being
I
in it.
have not
But
listened to this Humtum episode because I'm worried because I love Humtum when I was a kid. And I know that it's not aged well. Like I can tell you, if I just replay some scenes in my head, I'm like, oh, that's horrible. That's not aged well. So I have not listened to it. But Shehnaz was great in that like one scene that she's in. So
she's great in everything. Anyway, Karan, you were saying that one line that he
I
says to her.
yeah, I just love this interaction with her where he calls her on the phone, and I love that she's annoyed with him. Like she's messed up his life so bad by not delivering the package. And she's like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
yeah.
why are you yelling?" And he's like, "You think this is fucking picnic? You think this is like he he just fucking snaps." And it's so good. I just love that whole interaction. Vijay Raaz just chilling over there, him
But
losing his
remind me,
mind.
but can you please remind me again why this guy entrusted Shehnaz with the duty of delivering this package like a random
They had
person like
another
Shehnaz?
they had another friend, they had another hookup who used to do this for them. Like
Huh.
there was a girl that was very much aware of what the package was, but apparently
Hmm.
she couldn't make it, so she just said, "My friend will do it."
No,
So that's how
so
Okay.
this
she falls
starts.
sick. Their regular drop girl, air hostess, falls sick. So she's like,
Yeah,
my colleague will pick it up this time. And
Hmm.
yeah, that's why everything goes wrong because it's not their regular person
Because like
that they
these guys,
usually.
like from whatever I have heard, these guys are very particular about their delivery agents. Don't ask me how I know this. I've read things, okay?
Sure,
allegedly,
Urjita. Yeah, yeah.
hypothetically, maybe if in some place you read it because
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
far away, not here. So yeah, I just thought
yeah.
we'd
Yeah.
cover our bases.
Because I think they set it up very well in the very first scene, right? Where Vladimir
Yeah.
is so tense and so serious about the fact that he's carrying diamonds, and Shehnaz is just chilling. He's like, "Oh, Vladimir, come sit," and she's like, "No."
It's great.
Okay, I didn't mention this, but the film is written by Akshat Verma, directed by Abhibay Deo. I have a larger question here, guys. Does this film seem authentically Delhi to you? Because for me, it did not. I thought they could have very well just set this in Bombay,
I
and
Yeah.
it
thought it was
would
Bombay.
not
Like
have
I
made
kept forgetting. I kept thinking it was Bombay
exactly
actually,
right.
and I was like, wait, no, the
The
movie is
only
Delhi Belly.
Exactly. The only time where I think it's quintessentially Delhi, and I apologize to all our Delhi fans, is when Purna Jagannathan's ex-husband is chasing them with a gun in his hand and shooting at them, and nobody is giving a fuck. I'm like, I can totally believe this will happen in Delhi. But all the other times, I think our three main characters, they all seem like Bombay characters. Like these are even
South
Yeah.
though
Bombay.
Veerdas,
Hmm.
South Bombay specifically, yeah. At one point during the climax, when Imran Khan is driving the car and a scooter guy just cuts him, he says, "Hey, sal chal be Ghantesh." I think Ghantesh is a very Bombaya word,
Yeah.
Bro,
right?
Ghantesh was
Nobody will say
awesome.
this
That
in
was such a good line.
Vijay Raaz also, yes, he comes across as a North Indian gangster, but still not quintessentially Delhi. So I'm comparing
Hmm.
this to films like Oye Lucky Lucky, Oye Khosla Ka Ghosla. For me, those are like
Mm.
quintessential Delhi movies. So what
Yeah.
did you? I also three guys living in such a dilapidated, beaten down house is a very Bombay premise. Like in Delhi, I find it hard to believe that ghar itna ganda aur itna bura hoga
And
for
that too,
people to
the
live in.
rent is 10,000 rupees, which
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think according to those days it was still a lot. This is 10
But I
years
think it's
ago, right?
10,000
13 years
each,
ago.
right?
No, it was 10,000
Like
for the
each
whole
of them are
house.
paying. Oh, really?
Because उन्होंने
That's
10,000 per
nothing
month मांगे थे.
for
Yeah.
Bombay.
Yeah. So, what
I
did you guys
look.
think about the portrayal of Delhi? Huh?
I just for 1 second to talk about the house, the place that they're staying in.
Hmm, hmm.
I forgot, like, because that's the opening, like after the the Vladimir scene, that's like
Yeah.
the opening shot
Yeah.
with Segal
Yeah.
Blues playing. Man, I forgot how disgusting it was. I forgot, and I was not ready. And when they cut to the bathroom, I was like, I can't do this, guys. This is rough. The half-eaten
Yeah.
pizza inside. I was speaking to a friend about this. She said when she saw Delhi Belly, it made her dread living with a guy. Like it stayed with her. That opening
I think
bit
that
of
was the
like,
point.
yeah, like just you're like, oh God, is this what living with men is like? And
Yeah.
yeah, it was
You also felt that,
horrible.
no? Is this what living with men is like?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember, I kid you not, I let me share something with you. I watched this movie like 3 or 4 years ago. And this was the time when I had not been to any bachelor apartments. So for me, I felt like this is exaggeration. This is an exaggeration. Come on. इतने तो गंदे नहीं होते हैं ये लड़के. And then, like after a year or so, I had the privilege of checking out a bachelor's apartment, and I was like, okay then. Like not like really exaggeration इतना भी नहीं था, but I get it कि this इससे भी
Oh
ज्यादा गंदे
God.
देखे मेरे दोस्तों
It's
के,
a very
but
disgusting movie. It's a very
yeah,
disgusting, and
That
I
is,
the
see this
it's
with
true.
all
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
I would skip
But
all the
this,
potty scenes. Just नहीं मेरे से नहीं,
bro,
I
why?
cannot get the potty humor. मुझे funny नहीं लगता, मुझे बहुत
Okay.
disgusting
Let's
लगता है.
let's get down to the shit, guys. Okay.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Here's my take. Okay, so Karan was watching this movie and he sent me a text before I'd seen it. Okay, dude, there's so much shit in this movie. I'd forgotten just how much shit there is. And I'm like, okay, that means that they must have used farting and shitting in places that where it did not require it. But in the whole movie, I just found one place where I thought they exaggerated a little bit. Is again towards the end when they're all wearing burqas and Kunal Roy Kapoor has to find a house to take a dump in, and there's this
Hmm.
scene where the family is in the other room and they can hear fart noises, and they're just they're assuming that one of the people in the room is farting, and it's actually Kunal Rai Kapoor, and the kid comes and points there. I think that was the only time where I thought that the fart noises were not needed. It's exaggerating to like
Mhm.
they're just playing the fart for the comedic effect. In all the
Yeah.
other places, I thought the farts were very very realistic. Like
Bro,
when
okay,
the
are you
first
telling
time
me this is
when
realistic?
the
Okay.
first time
The
when
plastic,
he
the
eats.
plastic rises. Have you seen that bit? The
Yes,
when he shits, the
yes.
plastic
I was
literally
about to come
stands
to that.
up.
Yes. So the first time where he comes after eating the kebabs, he runs to his house. He opens the door, and that relief of the wet fart and the poop. I was like, this is really, really, really realistic. That the polythene is supposed to signify that वो इतनी जल्दी में था कि उसने कुछ knot वॉट नहीं बांधी बस रख दिया, and now because of the expulsion of gases.
My entire body is like clenched
You know
right now.
what? I want
Just
to add
reliving it.
to that. I want to add to this conversation and make it slightly more disgusting.
Oh,
वो
Yes,
जो
please.
do you remember the shot where where Vijay Raaz lays out the poop?
Of
I didn't
course.
want to look at the poop. I looked at it, and I kid you not, I was like, okay, this is accurate for a guy who has diarrhea, because this is what diarrhea poop looks like. Regular
wow.
poop doesn't look like that. Regular poop is more like ऐसे थोड़ा balls
Yeah,
है,
it's
but
like
इसमें
a
no,
regular.
there is
Let's
liquid,
get into it.
gravy.
What is what does
So
regular poop look
regular.
like? What
Okay,
does diarrhea
I
poop look
So two
I
types
might.
of regular poop.
Go ahead, please,
Two types
Urjita.
of
Yes.
regular poop. Okay, the super
like?
healthy regular poop is the one where you poop in like ऐसे bites. They like there are छोटे छोटे balls आते हैं, and then there is another kind of regular that means if you have that kind of poop, it means your intestine is healthy, and the other kind of regular poop is the long lady.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. Like that's the one which
Now, your
tells you
personal favorite.
that
Okay.
that
Yeah,
your digestive system has done the work to give it a shape, right? It's not just
yeah,
throwing stuff out
Hmm.
there. Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
love that too.
diarrhea
That's
poop
my
is just
personal
like
favorite.
Diarrhea
that
poop is
that
basically paneer lababdar.
See, I
What
Malai
do
like
you
the
think
fact
kofta.
that
they?
Malai kofta.
Oh God. Oh
when
God.
he
What do you
lays
think they
it out,
used, by the way?
it's not just liquid, right? There are like chunks of solid also in there
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
lays out
Hmm.
the thing. Yeah.
What do you think they
Do you
used
think do
for?
you
Because I
think
remember train spotting. Train spotting. Remember that thing where it was like it was supposed to be chocolate. The train spotting scene where he's
so
like they show the poop.
I think
But what do you think they used in the?
chocolate is the de facto cinematic poop, from what I understand.
Okay, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a
So do you
metaphor
think
there somewhere.
as soon as as soon as Abhinay Deo yelled cut, Vijay Raaz just licked it all up?
Okay, I don't know what fetish this is. I don't know what kink this is.
Do you think he licked the poop and went, "Oh, this is in fact de facto poop. This is not de facto cinema poop. Nobody told me this is de facto poop."
Oh,
I wonder
And
if
then
there's a specific brand.
the other guy went कि सर आपके मुंह को तो लुंड्री की जरूरत पड़ेगी अभी.
oh my God.
For a final word on the pooping and farting in the movie, Karan, do you think it was overdone? Did you feel disgusted? Do you think that it wasn't required as much?
No, I mean, look, it is the driving. Weirdly enough, it's the driving plot
Yeah.
device.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he had to
Correct.
poop is what started off this whole mess that they're in.
Right. Right.
And so, in that sense, I think it's good. I think that the farting, but maybe you are supposed to be grossed out by this, right? This is the whole
Yeah.
point.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
achieved that. They achieved that really well. Like you said, there's a couple moments where I was like, okay, that was a little much. But having said that, it still worked. So like, I think it was
Mhm.
fine. As long I just didn't want any poop shots. Like as long as we
Yeah.
Well,
avoided
you
that,
you
I
got
got that,
the.
unfortunately. Yeah.
I don't think any other Indian film has depicted poop as blatantly as Delhi Belly.
Yeah.
And I remember,
No.
so when I saw it in the when I saw it in the theater, I remember I saw it thrice, and every single time the moment Vijay Raaz lays out the poop on the on the table, every single time there was a audible groan in the theater, like ugh. And I was like, then it definitely was put there for this reaction. If every single time it's working, then I think
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I have a question. So, just going back a little bit about the disgusting apartment that these guys are living in. Uh, there's also this thing where I think that the writers and the filmmakers essentially trying to portray that men are disgusting on multiple levels, because then right after that, when Purna Jagannathan's character is introduced and Kunal Roy Kapur is taking pictures, there's this line where Imran Khan introduces her and says, "Meet our serial rapist." And then later on there's a
Yeah.
dead body and he's taking pictures of the dead body. And there's this whole necrophilia type of I think at some point someone says the word necrophilia also. So there is this
Yeah.
thing that Kunal Roy Kapoor's character in the first half an hour, he's going to a brothel, he's eating street food, disgusting street food, where a guy is literally scratching his balls and giving him the food, but that doesn't matter to him. There is a little bit of that men are disgusting, and yet women for some reason tend to be with straight women tend to be with men.
I
It's just
don't
an
think that
observation
was
I made.
I don't think that was the intention,
because
but
because I'll tell you why. Because Shehnaz Tijriwala, we see her first in a posh airport, and then when you're not expecting her to come in that disgusting apartment, and she comes and
yeah.
literally points out all the flaws, like you didn't put out the water, you didn't take a
Mm-hmm.
shower, all of that, but you could hear the tap running, all of that. And then even later, Poona Jagannathan, we see her in like art galleries and five-star hotels. So there is this sort of, I don't know, contrast given that, oh, women are slightly, not slightly, but very well put together, and yet they tend to be with disgusting men.
That's because they
I
have
had like
a
a
heart of
weird feeling.
gold. That's what they have a heart of gold. वो दिल देखते हैं. माना कि इमरान खान का
I
दिल कुछ खास नहीं. Actually, he was a nice guy. Like he still went like to save his fiance, and then later
Yeah.
on he confessed कि नहीं भाई नहीं चाहिए. And
Mm.
then he
I
went after he saved the life of this girl also, Purna Jagannath.
Yeah.
No, I felt the
Yeah.
opposite. I felt like the movie was doing this weird thing, okay, and maybe I'm like reading too much into it. I felt
Okay.
one of the problematic elements of this movie was that it does position like the women as a little bit, like not all of the women, because Puna Jagannath gets all the cool stuff, but the other women in it are either dumb or like kind of treated as like annoying or like a bother,
Right.
like messing with their vibe. The
Yeah.
vibe that these
Mm.
guys have, it's messing with that, which is them
Yeah.
living in a disgusting apartment, being funny with each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
their relationship, even though it's disgusting, is kind of looked at as like, oh, this is a very fun dynamic that they have.
Hmm.
So the women are messy. So it is almost like, and the only woman that gets a good, like, gets to look cool is the one that's like the not like other girls woman. Like she's got that vibe to her
Yeah.
that she's like, I'm not like
Yes.
other girls. I'm cool. I can hang
Right.
with the boys. It's got that vibe.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
Right.
so that was one of the problematic. I'm not saying it was like blatant or anything, but even Veer Das's girlfriend just dumping him, she looks so bad, right? In that, she looks like heartless. Like literally, she just says like, "Okay, go fuck off now." I need to
Yeah.
marry this person. So I was like, okay, I don't know about all that. Like, there's no nuance to these. It
And
felt
even
like a little bit like
Anusha,
Kalki from ZNMD, like a little bit like
yeah,
that. Like all the roles
and
were like
even
that.
Anusha Dandekar's character, like, पहले distinction था कि oh, either you're a bimbo or you're not. So like
Hmm.
every girl just wanted to prove, no, I'm not a bimbo. And then like, you were given the label of being a bimbo for just doing girly things. Like if you
Hmm.
apply makeup, if you talk about Barbie, if you talk about ki all the if you talk in an animated way, acha ye bimbo hai. And
Hmm.
which is what like Anusha Dandekar's character stood for. वो भी
Hmm.
ऐसे
Yeah.
एकदम पूरे एनिमेटेडली बात कर रही है कि ओ माय गॉड आई हैव दीस मेनी इंटरेस्ट दीस मेनी हॉबीज अरे तो अच्छी बात है ना व्हाई आर यू लुकिंग
Yeah.
व्हाई इज द जजमेंटल गेज ऑन
No.
हर माना
So,
कि वो उतनी
And
टैलेंटेड नहीं
Menaka is
है
part of that.
so can I?
Menaka is adding to the judgmental
या
gaze. Like she's
या
also there, like
एग्जैक्टली
making fun of her, right? So it makes
या
No, but
Menaka seem
can
cool.
I
यस
can I give my
Yeah.
take on that?
Hmm.
So, firstly, about the women being portrayed as dumb, right? I think the insinuation there is it's a portrayal. The film is depicting bro culture, okay? Because I think very early in the film, Kunal Roy Kapoor asks Veer Das, "What about your girlfriend?" When he's going for a movie with her, and he turns to Imran Khan and says, "Mark my words, tell him I want him. She's going to leave him." And then later on, when Imran Khan decides to go save Shehnaz from the goons, he says, Kunal Rai Kapoor says, "Man, I hate your girlfriend, man." So of course there is that whole sense that हम लड़कों के बीच में ये लड़की कहाँ से आ गई यार हमारी वाइब
या
बिगाड़ने के लिए. Like that's a
या
very
Hmm.
conscious decision I think the film takes. There is also that whole running thing about in the social circles where another character says, Purna, I've heard she's a lesbian, and then later on she's seen kissing a guy in a burqa. So there's something happening there. The Anusha scene specifically, I think this film was almost sort of predicting what Insta influencers will be like. That one day, no dig on you, Karan. I know you are one
Hey
right
man,
now.
look, I would love to
but
be like her, so I'm all in. Uh, I don't
but
take
there
that as
is
an
this
insult.
thing, right? The Insta influencers, if you see them talking, especially the ones who get really big, they have a certain
Hmm.
image to portray. So they're like, "Ha, we like to dance. Also, I have these hobbies. Also, like the ones who were at the Cannes Film Festival, right? Like they were very much putting up a front of who they are, where when they are not all that. So the
Hmm.
Anusha character, she's good at singing because she's written a song. It's a dumb song, but because again, that's I think Amir Khan had this phase where he wanted to just shit on everything mainstream. So he made Dhobi Ghat, he made Delhi Belly. I think he made one more film. So I think and then Amir Khan again in the end coming out as this disco killer character who's this mainstream Hindi film hero who's dancing
Yeah.
weirdly. So I think that was a comment on that. कि ये, मतलब, the bimbo is more like yeah, that's a portrayal of a bimbo character, not because that's all there is to her. Because she sings well, she sings a hit song,
we
but
get
she
it,
has to
Abbas.
portray.
You also have the judgmental gaze. You are Purna Jagannath. You are still in that zone.
Bro,
We get it,
I,
Abbas.
I'm
We get
I'm
it.
giving this movie an extra point just because Shehnaz is in it. So of course I have a
Shut up.
judgmental gaze.
Shut
Abbas, you
This
said
guy,
nubile while
he
explaining that, okay?
he dug a hole. Abbas dug a hole for himself by saying कि आजकल के इंस्टा इन्फ्लुएंसर्स तो वैसे ही है. Am I right, guys?
Yeah,
I
this
just
is great
realized
when
it,
you get another proper influencer on. This is gonna be hilarious because what we'll do is we'll
Yeah,
play this
but,
clip back and be
yeah.
like, "This is what Abbas said."
And he
So
but
also
I
specified कि जो कान में जा रहे हैं वो मतलब कान में 4-5 इन्फ्लुएंसर्स गए. He's talking about them.
I'm terrified he was gonna
yes
say a
I
couple
am.
of
What?
names. I was like, "Hey man, fuck it.
Yeah,
Let's just name
yeah.
people. Let's do it now live."
I just realized in the episode where Urjita said nobody uses shenanigans commonly, I use the word nubile while describing
Yeah.
something. My favorite line in the Anusha scene is when she says, "I want to start my own clothes line one day," and then Imran says, "You mean clothing line?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Abbas, did you also think of the wrestling move clothesline
of
when you
course
heard
I
that?
did.
Because I
Yeah,
did. Okay.
Yes.
Abbas and I
Yeah.
have this wrestling fandom in common, which I've
Yeah.
now realized. Yeah.
I can
This
see
is
that.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 second, guys. I need. Do you have a point, Karan? You want to bring up?
I have. I actually wanted to speak about because weirdly we've
Guys,
not
can I
really
just
spoken
pause
about him.
for a sec? Can I pause for a second? My dad is
Yeah.
calling. I just tell him I'm in a recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I have 4 points.
I have a bunch of notes.
You have like 16 points, no, Karan?
I
Don't
have
lie.
16 points. No.
Keep
I was
16
I was
points.
gonna. Okay, so Abbas is back. He's back.
Sorry. What did you want to? You want to bring up a point?
Yeah. I wanted to bring up, and
Okay, so-
because weirdly we've not spoken about him enough. Should I start from
just take it from there. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about Imran Khan because I don't think we've spoken about him
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
Weirdly, but like it is weird because he's not the most interesting character of the movie. So it's
That's
not like
true.
he'll
He's pretty
stand out in the
bland,
funny
actually.
scenes. I
Yeah.
think the thing about Imran Khan, because there's this thing on Twitter, I don't know if you guys have seen this has happened. It's like an annual thing, which I've also been guilty
Wow.
of starting myself when I was on
Lord
Twitter.
Tao Imran Khan.
Bring back
Lord-
rom-com
bring
wala
back-
Imran Khan.
Bring back
Lord Tao
rom-com
Imran Khan.
I'm also
Yeah.
I'm also a supporter of that, honestly. I'm
Yeah,
not here to tell
yeah.
you that Imran is like Daniel Day-Lewis or something. I'm not gonna like bust out like Imran Khan's best acting performances. This is not that. But I do think
Right.
that like if that was a criteria, there would be a lot of actors not acting right now. Like that's never
Mhm.
been a criteria in Bollywood. But he did have a likability to him, which I think was like there's like a niceness to Imran Khan, and he plays these like not so much in this movie, but I really like the kind of masculinity he's depicted in a bunch of films. Like, you know, like I really like the Jani Tu kind of that push and pull with masculinity that he displays. Then
Yeah.
even in Break Ke Baad, which is like a movie that people don't like, but I really thought it was sweet because he's like this very anxious, over planning man.
He was quite good in Ek Mein aur Ek Tu also, I think.
Yeah. I think that's a really
Yeah.
nice Imran performance. So I think that there is a zone for that, especially in a time when we've moved away from rom-coms so badly. Like now rom-coms are just, they're not the same. They're trying to fit in a bunch of things. They don't have that like charm to them. Imran Khan had that element for a bit. I don't think, because a lot of people, I read reviews saying like, oh, Imran Khan was great in this. I don't think he was, but it works. It's almost like, you know how when you cast Arnold Schwarzenegger as Terminator, because he can't act, so it's like, oh, he's a robot, so he can't act. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not saying I'm an Arnie fan. Okay, so hey Arnold, if Arnold's clearly listening to this, so Arnold, if you're listening to this, I love you. But the thing about like how we'll make him someone that's emotionally stunted. Like they did this with Arjun Rampal and it worked out really well. Like Rock On, he's like a person that's holding in his feelings.
Correct.
Right?
A
So it
national
works really
award
well
winning
because like
performance, by the way.
national award winning performance.
Yeah.
That's what you can do if you put someone in the right role. And Imran Khan's character is kind of like that. He's kind of like dissociated from everything. Like even in the worst case scenarios, he doesn't like he's like just checked out from his life. And it works because it's like, oh yeah, he doesn't have to show that much emotion.
Imran Khan has that vibe. Imran Khan has that vibe where, you know, he's like, I'm a fuckboy, but also I'm an ally. So he's
I go down on my
that
girlfriend.
side. Yeah. I go down on my girlfriend, but
I
if
also
she
answer
doesn't
a
go
phone
down,
call
then-
during.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have to go into a break, but before that, have either of you seen this film called Kidnap? I think it was directed by...
Yeah, I was about to mention
Okay.
that Kidnap is the movie where it all went, like, you know,
So
it all went to
that's-
shit because he
That's
couldn't
the
do
one
it. He
film
couldn't
where,
play the role.
where he was being projected as this action hero, and it does not work at all. Okay, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the stuff that we really loved in the movie. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening to us on an audio platform, leave us a review. It helps us reach more people. We'll see you right after this.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by actor and YouTuber Sahil Khattar. They talk about his upcoming web series called Bajao, and Sahil tries to teach Cyrus some Punjabi, leading to some big laughs and a lot of banter. On a special episode of Has It Aged Well, Abbas, that's me, and Urjita are joined by comedian Shreyas Manohar to discuss the 2009 Hollywood blockbuster Inception. They discuss why they are big fans of director Christopher Nolan and their expectations from Nolan's new film Oppenheimer. Folks, if you like our shows, please do spread the word. Tell your friends and don't forget to rate and review them wherever you're listening to them. Follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You'll also find our shows on youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsor this week, SBI Life. Thank you for making this possible.
And we're back on Has It Aged Well with Urjita and Karan. We spoke about Imran Khan. Let's talk about Veer Das. Veer was still in the upcoming stages in his stand-up career at that point. He was dabbling a little bit with acting. I thought he was fairly decent in this film because, again, him speaking in English does not seem out of place. Apparently, he auditioned 9 times to be in the film before he got the role finally. I love the whole bit he's doing at the end where his throat is gone and he's speaking in this very hoarse voice. But what did you guys think of it, Urjita?
So I really loved Veer Das in this movie, and if I'm not wrong, Veer Das got this role because he had started selling CDs, DVDs of his stand-up, and he was going to each and every store in Bandra and South Mumbai, ki bhaiya aap ye rakh lo, free mein rakh lo, rakhna hai rakh lo, and that CD reached the casting director of Delhi Belly, and that is how they found him. So if I'm not wrong, that's the story of how he got cast in the movie. But
do you
I
know
have
what
a point.
do you remember what the special was called? His very first special that he distributed DVDs of?
Brown something, no? Brown Indian.
No, it was called Walking on Broken Das. Puns, guys, always funny. Anyway,
ये puns walking on broken glass क्या ये क्या?
Glass.
it's walking on
Glass
broken
and
glass is the expression. So
Oh,
it's like
okay.
walking
Veer,
on broken
if you're
glass.
watching this, that was really good. I'm proud of you. I really liked it. I laughed. It was just inside. It didn't happen, but I did laugh for the record.
Let's just say it was a broad understanding.
My God, that was good. These are all great puns. Let's keep doing them.
Yeah. I have a point to make about Veer Das in this movie.
Yeah.
So okay, tell me if you have also noticed this. Bollywood में हमने ये काफी देखा है कि जब भी एक काफी मतलब ऐसे एक मेन हीरो हीरोइन है, ठीक है, मूवी में, और सपोर्टिंग एक्टर्स है ना, कभी कभी उनको वी नो दैट दीज गाइज लुक ब्यूटीफुल, बट जस्ट बिकॉज दे आर नॉट द लीड्स, तो उनका ना थोड़ा ब्यूटी कम किया जाता है फॉर सम रीजन. लाइक आई हैव एन एग्जांपल, हमारा दिल आपके पास है, दिस इज अ सतीश कौशिक मूवी. वो उस मूवी में द लीड्स आर ऐश्वर्या राय एंड अनिल कपूर, एंड दिस मूवी आल्सो हैज सोनाली बेंद्रे, बट फॉर सम रीजन she looks slightly less like that. They have taken her beauty down a notch just because she's not the lead. Like they have given her glasses, and the ugly glasses, not the cute glasses. And then I feel like uska thoda fairness bhi thoda 2-3 shades kam kiya hai, just because like I felt like that was deliberate. Like it didn't look
Kareena
like...
Kapoor, they did this. Kareena Kapoor and Ajnabi, they've done this. Where, like, for some reason, because they had to accentuate how hot Bipasha is, right?
Yeah.
In the second half, Kareena Kapoor dresses completely different from the first half. Like, they've tried to, like, make her as unattractive to you as possible. She's wearing the weirdest outfits, the most, like, auntie outfits. I'm like, look, man, this is okay, I guess, but, like, why? It's changing her character completely.
Yeah, and I feel that is what happened with Veer Das in this movie, because there was no reason for them to suddenly shave off Veer Das's head, and then in it पहले भी उसको curly बाल दिए.
You know the backstory to that? I read this somewhere. I don't know how true this is, but apparently when Amir had his first breakup, he was so hurt that he wanted to express it somewhere, and apparently he went and got his head shaved just to sort of express that. And that's what they have tried to replicate, that that जब लड़की दिल तोड़ के जाती है तो गंजे हो जाओ.
It did give us that great line.
Hey, Abbas, do you keep getting a heart broken?
I know. Women keep breaking my heart, guys.
Just consistent.
Shehnaz especially.
But there's a great line because of the head shave, right?
The
head shaving bit.
Yeah.
Because Kunal Roy Kapoor then says, "Did they shave your head before they hang you? Like, why did they?" And I was like, "Oh, that's great." Like he thought that, uska pehle usko shave kiya, fir usko hang kiya. Yes.
Yeah.
And his delivery is so like, did they shave you before they beat you up? But I think my thing for that is like just that our three main guys. Imran Khan is the proper straight guy. Like he doesn't have like a defining feature as such. Kunal Roy Kapur is the fat, disgusting guy. So they needed to give Veer something, like the third guy. And the thing is, he's not actually playing the funny one in the movie. He's fairly serious. He's very obsessed with his work. He's very stressed about things. He's this graphic designer who works in a corporate office and all of that. So I don't know why. I think 2011 में आप graphic designer in a corporate setup सोचोगे तो ऐसी घुंघराले बाल वाला like a stout bespectacled guy is what probably came to their mind. I thought.
I like
Yeah.
that setup, by the way. I liked his boss. I like that
Dude, his
banana.
boss
Make
was
the
so
banana
good.
happier. Make the
The
banana smile
feedback
is like
loop
such a great
was
bit.
very, very
The
realistic. Very
client,
realistic.
like anyone that's
Yeah.
worked with a client, like in those client-facing sort of jobs where like
Yeah.
the requests are just going to be insane. I felt like they
Yeah,
captured that.
yeah.
There was a frustration there in that writer who's been through that. You could tell
Yeah.
that he's
Yeah.
experienced this, and they're like, "Oh, make the banana happier."
Can I
That was
share
great.
something?
So
Can I share something here?
yeah, sure.
I was writing a stand-up script for a brand like about a year ago, and this was for a person who was not even a stand-up comedian. So it's like they were making an actor say those stand-up lines, and that is, by the way, that is what they were referring to my script as stand-up lines. Stand-up lines. So usme bhi, I kid you not, the feedback would every time be like, oh, this joke is very funny. But I feel it's a little weird, so let's not do it. And they would say that for like, I'm the safest comic in Mumbai right now. मुझे मेरे दिमाग में problematic जो चीज आती है मैं लिखती ही नहीं हूँ. And फिर भी तुमको हर एक चीज पे कि this is funny, but we don't know if this is going to ruffle a few feathers. And ऐसा कर करके they made it super unfunny. And ultimately, when it like obviously didn't do that well, in the show, I think they had a show also, they had a recording for that. They were like,
Yeah.
कॉर्पोरेट तो ऐसा ही होता है ना, आपको तो पता ही होगा. मैंने कहा तो फिर मुझे हायर ही क्यों किया, आप किसी कवि को बुला लेते. But
Yo,
yeah,
shots
it's
fired
fair.
at Kavis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everywhere.
You want to mention the name of the client?
of course not. I have also messed with the timeline just so that no client thinks this is about them.
Oh my God.
Okay, I just want to mention the name of the actor. He's called Bugs Bhargav. He's a very prominent voice actor, and he's done a lot of other promo work as well. So I thought, yeah, his boss was really fantastic.
great.
Let's talk about Vijay Raaz, guys. Do you guys think this movie is one of the few that really used Vijay Raaz's strengths and gave him a role where he could actually flex his muscles,
Oh.
right? Because
Yeah.
he's just so good in this movie. Like every scene that he's in, he totally steals it. He's a gangster, but
MVP.
he's not overdoing it. He's very subdued. But still, you can assume that when this guy loses his shit, he really gets down to it. What did you
Yeah.
guys think of Vijay Raaz? I think for me, I think this is one of his top 3 performances ever. I feel
Which are the other two?
so. He had a very small role, but it's so iconic. I would say Run would be
Dude, I was
one
thinking of
definitely.
Run. I looked up Run yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
So
other,
good.
I would say, I don't know if you guys have seen this film, Raghu Romeo. I think was a really good film where he's the lead.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I think he
I
was
thought he
very
was
nice
great.
in Gully Boy. I think he was very nice in Gully Boy. Very understated
nice.
performance. Because Vijay Raaz
Sure.
Vijay Raaz is a serious dad. Like,
But I didn't buy him as Ranveer's dad. I was like, the age difference there is not that much.
Of course, that's the
Yeah.
But I guess young
Yeah.
young fathers, like people getting married earlier in like certain settings, maybe. I think
Yeah.
that dynamic that he brought of like this jaded person that probably did have dreams at some point, and he's looking at it from a very realistic
Correct.
standpoint.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a
But
great, like
what
that
did you think of him
final
in
scene with
Delhi
him and
Belly,
it.
Karan? This film called
Oh,
Delhi
that
Belly.
movie that we're talking about right now. I thought he was awesome, man. I think every line that he's in, like, I don't know if they were doing this back like in 2011, if there were enough
Mhm.
comedic gangster roles. Like I was thinking about this, like there's probably Munna Bhai, but Munna Bhai is more over the top, like wholesome. Like he's
No,
wholesome
there
gangster,
were
right?
so I mean, like there are the whole Chota Chhatri and Aslam Bhai type characters with like out and out comedic. Like they would get a comedian to play it. So Johnny Lever or Satish Kaushik would play Pappu
Correct.
Pager. The David Dhawan mold of Kader Khan would play gangster, but he would be
Yeah.
overtly comic. Like that would be their personality.
But
Funny
this is
and
different.
menacing was very less. Yeah.
Yeah, because he literally there's a threat. There's a threat element to
Yeah.
Vijay Raaz being there. Like he is beating people
Yeah.
up. People are dying. in scenes where he's in, like legit. Like when the first kill happens around him, like I think the gangster, like his sidekick gets shot accidentally. I was like, oh fuck yeah, people do die in this movie also.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
up to that point, I didn't realize. So I thought he had a great performance of like that subversive thing, right? Like a gangster doing something mean, but like one of the best scenes is like they're having this heated interaction. Vijay Raaz and Vladimir, whose name I'm not remembering, but Vladimir, he's Vladimir to me.
yeah.
They're like this close, and then he's like, interrogating, and this guy's bleeding, and he's
Uh,
fucked, and he's like,
uh,
Talashi lo room ki, and then it pans out and they're eating food because they've set up shop there. They're just chilling. The sidekicks are
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah. And he's like, yaar, tum log shaadi mein aaye ho kya? Like he gets
Barat
so
mein aaye ho?
upset.
Bharat
Barat
mein
mein aaye ho. It's so good. I just thought like those lines where he's being menacing
Yeah.
and then they flip it on its head. This is a common
Mm.
thing in the movie where they kind of
Yeah.
introduce something menacing and then they go, but actually in real life this would be weird, right? Like why wouldn't they sit down? Why wouldn't they chill? So Vijay has really
Yeah.
benefited from that too. Like it's great writing as well as like
And
him being
and
so good.
and we have had other movies in which the gangsters were after something, and they were always shown like to be in a panicky mood. कि अरे कहाँ है मेरे जेवर, कहाँ है मेरे जेवर, just like always shouting, always being anxious. But यहाँ पे the gangster this is the chillest gangster I have ever seen. He's like,
Yeah.
मेरे को मालूम है अगर मेरे को डायमंड ऐसे नहीं मिले तो मैं ऐसे करके ले ही लूंगा. He is that. I want to achieve that kind of confidence in life. Like I want to be that confident about my career कि मेरे को मालूम है मैं अगर ऐसे successful नहीं बनी तो ऐसे तो बन ही जाऊंगी.
That, that
He's that.
that's how you should have dealt with the corporate client, Urjita, when they were giving you feedback on your jokes. It was like, देखो ये नहीं
Wow.
करोगे.
Yeah.
Wow, Abbas. Wow. You're right.
Also, I think that Vijay Raaz's character is the other. Whenever he's on screen, like his interactions bring about that class difference, right? Like when these English-speaking elite people are suddenly faced with a gangster who is very colloquial, that difference comes out, and I think that's very funny. Another scene where I think the English-speaking elite come across as bumbling idiots is the jewelry scene. When they go to the jeweler to sell the diamonds, I think that's a great scene. Rajendra Sethi, who plays the jeweler, I think carries that scene. Again, that's the one point where I was like, he looks like a typical Delhi jeweler who is, he's fooling you, but because the figure that he's told you is something you've never seen in your life, where he says 3 lakhs for each diamond, you're like, haha, we'll take it, yes. And then when they go back to him to sell it back to him, that whole interaction I thought was very, very, very funny.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay,
Agreed.
quick. I don't know if Urjita has like trivia questions or something, but I have a
Oh,
question.
go ahead. Yes.
Go
What
ahead.
is the song that's playing when they go into the jewelers? Like when they're interacting with him.
You know what, Karan? For moments like these, I knew you would come up with trivia like this. I actually note down the stuff.
I knew it. I
Okay,
knew it.
so the song that they're playing is "दुनिया में." दुनिया में लोगों को
लोगों को
धोखा कभी हो जाता.
Oh,
It's like when
It's
in
very on the
Hera
nose
Pheri they
too.
hear.
They're getting fooled.
Not
Like,
as much on the nose as when Sunil Shetty hears "गोलमाल है भाई सब गोलमाल
गोलमाल
है
है
in Hera
भाई
Pheri."
सब
Yeah.
गोलमाल है.
So it's great you bring that up, Karan. I actually made a list of all the references that they have. There is of course Duniya Mein playing in that scenes. There's Piya Tu Ab To Aaja right in the beginning, the very first scene at the airport. That's the
Yeah.
song that is playing. At one point, someone in the hotel is watching the film Honeymoon Travels on the
Yes,
TV.
That was gonna be
I
my other
was going
question.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. I have two questions. One the killing Eve wala Vladimir and one this. But like fine.
Oh, it's happened. The
Fine.
segment's happened already. Oh no.
Segment is, you guys have aced the segment already.
That
But
one
I
I
think
was
that
ready
was
to ask Abbas because Abbas likes what's on TV and stuff. So I was like ready to ask him about the
exactly.
honeymoon travels one. So yeah.
I thought that was Amir Khan just giving a hat tip to like Zoya Akhtar and Reema Katki that like I appreciate the work that you do, maybe.
Love that movie, by the way.
That was just the footage that they had available. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading a little too much into this.
You know what I
And
read
of
into
course,
it? Because like
yeah,
there was also an old couple that was celebrating their anniversary and honeymoon travels
yeah.
is about that. So I feel like maybe
Okay.
it made sense.
Did they work for you, the foreign couple? I thought the only time they were funny to me is the first time where they come in and they see that Puna Jagannathan is riding Imran Khan, and they're
Hmm.
horrified and they're like, "Is
Yeah.
this Alzheimer's? Did we forget the hotel room?" And then after that,
Yeah.
every time they do the callback, it wasn't funny to me. And especially the last time where
Yeah,
the white woman loses her shit and like, "Next time we'll just go to fucking Disneyland." I'm like, that's very out of character for what you have established so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
yeah,
But to be
yeah. The
honest,
Alzheimer's
हमें
bit
क्या
is the
पता
funniest
गोरे
bit.
लोगों के बारे में? हमें क्या पता?
Yeah,
क्या
how do
पता
we
वो ऐसी
know?
बात करते होंगे? Yeah. Like imagine,
No, no.
imagine, imagine those white people judging our Hindi and saying ऐसे थोड़ी ना बात करते लोग. This is all scripted.
Hmm.
ऐसे थोड़ी ना होती है बम्बई या हिंदी. So I feel like yeah.
Ghandesh.
Another scene I want to touch upon is I
Yeah.
love this scene. I think the interrogation where Vijay, not that there's, I mean, Vijay Raaz is only interrogating, honestly, but the
Mm,
one where he goes to the flat and he's got
mm,
Veerdas up on the thing. I
mm.
just love that whole setup. Like Imran Khan walks in and Veerdas is already standing there. I'm like, oh shit! Like they didn't even show you how they got Veerdas there. Nothing. They're already
Yeah.
jumping in the middle of it. And
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
many funny bits in that with Kunal Roy Kapoor also coming in.
Yeah.
And
Also,
he's
I
just
loved.
brought the diamonds. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I also
Great.
loved how they have nicely used the Chekhov's gun in this movie.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
Chekhov's
Yeah,
gun is
We're
back, ladies
here.
and
Chekhov's
gentlemen.
gun is back. Yeah. So like they have used each and every little addition they have made to the script, which might have looked useless in the beginning, but then no, they have closed the loop. Like even the Kathak dancers, ऊपर जो नाच
Oh.
रहे थे,
Yeah. Mm.
they also served such an important role. नीचे वो गिर जाता है. You would have thought कि this is how they are going to close the loop. I found that very amazing.
Yeah, this
That
movie
was
is
nice.
You know
Chekhov's
the
gun central. Like it is literally
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
every little thing they introduce, you will have a payoff in some way, which is like it's
Yeah.
a very comedy writer thing. Like they're like, okay, no, we have to introduce the thing and
Correct.
close it
Yeah,
off. The
yeah,
callbacks
yeah.
were amazing.
Yeah.
So
My
Yeah.
favorite one was the one where sometime in the early part of the film, Kunal Roy Kapoor throws something at Veerdas and he's not able to catch it. He hits his forehead, and then right at the end, he throws him the diamond wala Russian doll thing, and he's not
Huh.
able to catch it. It hits his head and just falls out of the window. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, that is so cool. They set this up right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
I think the music
yeah,
of the film has aged very well. I know the song "DK Boss" was a bit of a controversial sort of a song. I think all the other songs like "Bedardi Raja" is such a funny song.
it's been
I
on
think it's
loop,
such a
dude,
great
since
song.
last night.
Sona Mahapatra, you beauty.
So good.
Too good. Too good.
I have
But
some
speaking of that, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
soundtrack related trivia. Side note,
Yeah.
slide. Ram Sampath, right? He's done the album.
Yes.
I was like, who is this guy? Because I looked up, like, I knew he had done some
Oh,
albums, but it's like not as consistent. The one thing I learned about him is the Crazy Four controversy,
yes.
which is
Yep.
that the movie Crazy Four, the title track, and that Break Free, which is the same song, copied his tune for the Sony Ericsson ads.
Yes. And
And there was a court case about it, which
there was a
Wow.
is
court case, and Ram
incredible.
Sampath was Ram Sampath or his legal team, whoever it was, are so fucking clever. They lodged the case 4 days before the release of the film. So Rakesh Roshan
Mm,
could not afford to not settle this out of court and pay them money because his film was about to release in 3 days. So hota hai na,
yeah,
strike when the iron is hot. So
Mhm.
he took the exact moment where he thought they have no option but to pay me money and just get me off their back.
Yeah.
So yeah,
very catchy
but yeah,
song
the
though,
music.
Rakesh.
Ram
But
Sampath, I think Amir Khan had a sort of a, I think he liked Ram Sampath because Ram Sampath did quite a
Talash,
lot of background scores,
Talash
and he
also is
also
him.
did the music for Satyamev Jayate, the show that Amir
hmm.
used to host.
Oh, okay, makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
He's
Mm.
yeah.
good, man. He's really good.
He's
Yeah.
good.
Hot
Yeah.
take. Ram Sampath's really good,
But
based
didn't,
on
if I'm not wrong, didn't Hrithik Roshan feature in that Sony Ericsson ad?
there were
And he
two
also
No,
featured
oh
in Crazy Four. No,
I
he
don't know
featured
about the
that
in
I'm
Sony
some
not
Ericsson
sure
ad.
Sony
about.
Ericsson ad. I remember he featured in some
Hmm.
Sony Ericsson ad. I'm not sure if it's this one. But man,
Ritik,
Are you
stealing
saying?
Ritik,
music.
what's up,
Are you
man?
saying
What are you doing? Yo,
Ritik just went on set thinking he's shooting an ad for Sony Ericsson, and then Rajesh Roshan was like, no,
because
we're
he's only
gonna
in the
retrofit.
movie for that song. It's just
Yeah,
that
He's only
song,
yeah.
right?
moved for that song.
It's
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
weird
yeah,
thing
yeah.
because him and Shah Rukh both did the same song. Like they both did a performance for the same song. The title is just different. Like Shah Rukh's is Break
Yeah.
Free,
Yeah.
And
Oh,
his is
okay.
crazy. But it's the same song. I listened to both
Yeah.
of them. I was like, wait, so what was the difference? Just
And
like
this is
just
the
his
See,
first
it's
dancing.
time.
Or,
By the way, this is
that's
also
it.
the first time that Shah Rukh Khan's choreography sucked. As in his dance, he looked so bad. You
Maybe
know
it's
what
because
was
in
the dance
contrast with
step?
Hrithik.
No, but
Yeah.
you know what was the dance step? Ayo. He's just doing that. It looked very unclish, the dance step.
This is the best ad for you should also watch the video of this.
Yeah.
Like
I was
this is
about to say, audio
that
listeners,
you
you're
get to
missing out.
see Urjita's dance moves if you tune in. So
But
Yeah.
since talking
uh,
about Khan's, the choreographer for the very last song, I Love You Like I Hate You, is Farah Khan. She's done the choreography for that. I want to go back to Bedardi Raja for a bit. You want to talk about the boob grab scene that Kunal Roy Kapur
okay.
does?
So I spoke to a friend about this, and she was saying, and
Yeah,
this movie she's only seen once, right? She saw it in 2011. She was
right,
like,
right.
and I just mentioned that I'm watching this movie, and she was like, "Oh, is it that scene where he grabs?" And I was like, "Whoa!" So you remember? Like she was like, she knew the conversation about it also, like
Yeah.
that she
Yeah,
had in school about it. Like it left that kind of imprint. Of course, there's like I know you're gonna get into the context of it, but I thought
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
talking about the actor himself. I'm talking about the character in the moment. I felt like it was almost made worse by the fact that if there was a creepy guy who was like lecherous and he was looking at a certain way and then he did it, it would still make sense in the movie. But it was done in such a mechanical way almost that you're like, oh, you're not even looking at this person like a person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
not even. There's not even a. It's just that they are. Oh, because they're a sex worker, they're this way. Obviously, I'm talking about like Nitin, the character, right? Because I know there's a bunch of backstory for this as well, right?
Hmm.
But yeah.
What's the
So
backstory?
yeah. No, isn't there a backstory about this scene?
Okay,
Something?
about the scene, yeah. So no,
Yeah.
I mean, just staying with the character for a bit. I mean, this guy, the Nitin character, literally makes his side income by blackmailing people, taking photos of them visiting sex workers, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know that one time when he's setting up the camera to take pictures, and when he sees it's his landlord, he's surprised. So it's established that he's been doing this for a while. It's just that
Yeah.
this time around it happens to be his landlord, so he's even more excited.
I
But
read
yeah,
that
talking
completely
about
different, I read that as
okay,
if, oh, I thought he was stalking the landlord, but then later on they're
Yeah.
like,
Even I
oh,
thought so.
later on they're like, oh, he
okay,
says, no, I've been doing this for 2 years. Like, so then I was like, oh, wait, so it wasn't, he's just been doing
because
this
Yeah.
for a while.
his entire sort of the build up to that scene, it almost seems like routine to him that he takes a
Hmm.
room in the brothel, he picks up this street food, he knows the
Yeah,
sex workers around there. That's why he knows
correct.
exactly how much to give
Yeah.
and uh,
Yeah.
so all of that. But I would like to mention that particular scene, the making of that scene. So Kunal Roy Kapoor was on Saris's podcast,
Hmm.
and he said that. Do you know this story, Urjita?
No, no, I don't. I don't remember. But
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
he's mentioned about this scene. So he said in Delhi Bali, there's this one scene where I have to grab the breast of a woman. So apparently, we'll play that clip, but I think the woman was a real life sex worker, and they had a talk with her before that we're going to feature you in a scene, and apparently the deal was that they paid her a certain amount of money, and for that much money she was willing to give them 5 squeezes. Okay, so you can you can squeeze my boob 5 times for this. Okay, because they assumed that of course there was going to be retakes and all of that, and they got the shot in the third take. Okay, the third squeeze was the one the director was like, yeah, this is good, but now they have 2 squeezes remaining. Okay, Indian brain is like, do we let this go? We've paid the full amount, she's not going to refund. So then they took the 2 shots more. Because like, hey, she said 5 squeeze. So you gotta get your full
Oh
amount
my God.
worth. So yeah, that's
You
the
have to get
backstory.
your squeeze word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll play that clip right now.
There was a scene in which I had to grab a woman's breast. Which was, do you remember the scene?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I just walked out. I was like,
yeah,
this
there
can't
was like
happen.
this was too
Not in our
against,
Sanskriti. Yeah,
against
cameo.
my this thing.
Little
So,
Actors Club, we never encourage that.
no chance.
Both breasts, yes. Go on.
So I had to just do a light squeeze and walk away.
You have to show us.
So I just did a little.
Silvery, lean
squeeze.
into him.
So
Karke
just a
dikhao
little,
beta.
it was a little squeeze and walk away.
Yeah.
So what happened
Who's the girl?
was,
Like an extra?
She was a lady who, I mean,
So did you know her or didn't know her?
I know. I met her. I talked to her. She was a very sweet lady.
She knew what was coming, right?
She, of course, because there was a full contract that was in
Oh,
place.
okay.
So the contract was, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you will be heavily padded and all that. So it's not going to be an actual breast. It'll be
yeah.
like some sort of cushion or whatever.
Just like in reality, it'll be a fake breast.
A fake breast.
Right, okay.
So then the contract stipulated how many
Seconds?
How many squeezes. So there were how many squeezes?
Should have been
of
called
the,
Delhi breast, yeah.
How
He's
many
got the name wrong.
How many squeezes of the breast would
How
be
many were
allowed?
there? How many?
5, because there was a negotiation.
You fought
there.
for 6, didn't you?
No. So they said. So it started at. They said so. So the producer said 7. She said no, 3. Said no, 5.
Wow, Mandoli ho gaya.
Said Mandoli 5. I think.
You mean you can show 3 on screen?
No.
Or 3 in total for the shoot.
In the acting.
He
can only, whether they shoot it 1 or 5 times, they can't go over 5.
Takes. 5
5 takes.
man.
So 5
5
times he
takes.
squeezes. On the 6th time, she's not doing it anymore.
Yeah. Because I'm done now. This is it.
Yeah.
Like,
I
otherwise
have this for handshakes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what happened was that then we got to shooting, and then of course they come to me and say, listen, the thing is we have only 5 takes, so we got to get it right. Okay, so just little
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. Okay, so
Handshaking,
Yeah,
Mr.
really.
Breast, like in the shoulder.
I don't want to squeeze like a cheek or something suddenly. So
Like, imagine your face, man. You didn't know to laugh.
so then whatever, camera rolling, and we were shooting on film and all. You know,
Yeah.
it was like still back in the
Yeah.
day. So cameras rolling, go and do the shot. It was a little longer, few lines, and then the squeeze, and I leave. And then everyone turns to each other and they say, yeah, that was perfect, yeah. We got it, I think we got it. So he said, yeah, we got it. But we have 4 more takes, he said. So
Abhinav, no?
So he said,
Wow.
so let's go again. Yeah,
How is
let's
this
go."
man still working?
So
The girl didn't say anything.
No, but you need an extra take, no? Backup.
Maybe
Backup.
extra, but he doesn't go for 5 if they, it's just one shot, for God's sake.
And do one NG take also, just so we have it.
Yeah.
So we did another couple of takes. At least he said no, but I think the first one was it. But we did go ahead.
She was okay
and
with you after that?
She was a very sweet lady.
So yeah,
Oh,
that's
God.
the backstory, guys. I just want to mention that I saw this film in 2011, and I had just changed streams from dentistry to media, and this was one of the first films I think I saw with my new friends at Lua Parel, Phoenix. But I also had a really bad breakup at that point, and I was really angry at my ex. And can I just mention the song Ja Chudel became such a cathartic piece of music for me. And then after that, henceforth, every time I had to mention or I had to refer to my ex to my friends, we used to just use the moniker JC, which stood for Ja Chudel.
So this movie was
Not
great
junior
for women.
college. Not for junior college anyway. It's Jachudel, of course.
Women really
So
love
we
this
kinda
movie.
like,
It didn't cause any problems
yeah.
at all for them.
You know what?
Yeah.
JC really fucked with my head. So that stood for Ja Chudel.
Sure.
I really like. So yesterday I think I started watching this film at around 1 a.m. and I was really dreading that I have to sit for 3 hours and watch it. But then I thought the running time was just like 1 hour 41 minutes, which I thought was really economical and great. What did you think,
Yeah.
Karan, about the running time of the film?
I think it's a bit of a joke at this point that the 2 episodes that I've done with you guys at this point, I am a very much long Bollywood melodrama 3-hour person. I feel like that's my jam. That's my pocket.
Yeah.
I like movies with a lot of songs. I
But
need
we
there to be
keep
crying.
calling you for these cool movies for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, you're
This
like,
is not
let's
your
do these
jam.
like. I feel like this
To
is an
be-
education for me. Like I'm being
To
like.
be
like, they're
honest,
like-
your first option was Veer Zara, and then we were like, no, we don't have a week to watch an entire film. We have to watch a slightly shorter film.
I just love that this is the it's almost like a gimmick at this point where I will be called on for these very tight, well written, no flab on the bone, no like Shah Rukh Khan monologue that I get to talk about. Like I'm upset that this movie was an hour 40, but having said that, it was great. It flew by. Like I genuinely, it was one of those movies where I was like, oh wait, it's over. Oh fuck, we're in the last 10 minutes of this.
Yeah.
So this was even
Yeah.
like shorter than Ek Hasina Thi.
But-
Like this was.
But despite that, I wanted to ask you guys that this movie did so well. So ideally, we should have had more movies like this, right? So why didn't we get more movies? We got Go Goa Gone.
So-
We got
so
Finding
that's
Sandy.
the-
We got
That's the point where the reason why I revere this film and I really think of it highly is because we cannot make a movie like this now. 12 years
Yeah.
later, I think we have gone back because we can't think of like even back when it came out, there was a lot of debate about, oh, is this film vulgar? This film is ruining the youth of the nation and all of that. But it still ran in theaters. It did well. It was a hit. Today, I don't
Yeah.
think you can release a film like release a song like DK Bose and then not just be banned or be face all the boycott and all that shit. So, and actually,
Mm.
now that you mentioned it, Urjita, I'm gonna do a little name drop here. But when Rahul Bose came on Saris's show, I asked him the
All
same
right.
question, and Rahul Bose actually said that the amount of English speaking productions in India back when he was like since he started working in the early 2000s, late 90s, he said it's gone down because
Oh.
a lot of people now watch stuff on OTT, so language is not a barrier for them. Like they can use subtitles, they can use whatever dubbing or whatever, but people now want to expand their product as much as they can. I think even till the late 2010s or early 2010s, people were happy reaching out to a niche English speaking audience. But I think now, because there's so much money riding on things, that they want to reach as big a audience as possible. Because I also used to think, यार अब streaming है, streaming में लोग English क्यों नहीं बना रहे हैं? Like there's very little Indian English stuff out there, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know why. I just think it's about reaching as many people as you want, and the linguistic sort of what do you call, linguistic outlook has changed. That thing has gone where
Yeah.
if you speak in English, it's good content.
Like the flip side of that is Omkara, right? Like not to bring it back to Saif again, but here we are. We're in Saif content territory again. I used noticing that I like light up when I do this every time. But
Yeah.
the thing is with Omkara, that when Omkara released, Omkara didn't work. Okay, like I know it's a
Hmm.
movie that people love, but it didn't do well box
Hmm.
office wise.
Right,
And
right,
one of the main factors was the language. Like they were saying that because the
right.
language was very specific to that area, and Vishal
Yeah,
Bhardwaj like stayed true to it, it hurt the film.
yeah.
And it's weird that like
Yeah.
so that and it's almost like if that movie had worked, then maybe things would have you're almost like, okay, then we can do whatever, we can get more and more specific. But then Delhi Belly does work in its own
Hmm.
specific way with English, but it doesn't catch on. So it's
But
interesting
to be
because Delhi Belly's
fair,
10th in like
for Delhi
highest earning
Belly
films
though,
that year.
the face of the promotions was Amir Khan. He went everywhere to promote the film. And
Hmm.
secondly, I think the important thing here is the songs were in Hindi.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think that played a big part in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also promotion.
But they
Promotion
tried
highly
that
promoted.
with Goga Gone and Finding Fanny also, right? Finding Fanny थोड़ा बाद
But
में आई थी, but
Finding Fanny is still very much, I think, for a niche audience. I don't think it was meant for a
yeah.
big mainstream audience.
I
Here,
didn't love
the
Finding Fanny, you know. I didn't resonate with
I
it.
think
Like,
you're not
I
a
don't know.
homie Ajania guy, Karan. You didn't like Cyrus being Cyrus.
I
You
like
didn't
being
like Finding
Cyrus. I
Fanny.
like being Cyrus. I just didn't like the dialogue in it. I like being Cyrus, but I didn't like Finding Fanny
Okay.
because I was like, yay, they won't speak in
I
English. Or
haven't
like,
seen Finding Fanny, so I can't.
Finding
say
Fanny,
on
I
that.
also didn't like it, but I'm just like thinking in terms of कि अच्छा ये same genre है. मतलब English में बात
correct.
कर रहे हैं, plus like niche audience के लिए. So that's why I think that
What's
it
the
can
the
be.
other film you mentioned? Finding
Go
Fanny.
Goa
And
Goa
Gone.
Gone.
Go Goa Gone.
That one worked.
Go Goa Gone, I
Right? That
think
did well.
is a good example. But then Goa, see again, there is this thing, right? So Go Goa Gone, maybe the funniest line was कि accent तो नकली से था, मैं दिल्ली का हूँ भैंचोद. You know, so I think even there. So I was reading a Raja Sen review of Delhi Belly from 2011, and he mentioned in the review that even for the English film, the biggest laughs are the Hindi lines. And this is a thing that Urjita we as comics face all the time, right? Like, कि अरे तुम्हारा setup English में था, but punchline के लिए हिंदी बोलना पड़ता है because like for whatever reason the Hindi, the colloquialness of it is what is true to us.
Yeah.
So even here, the reason Vijay Raaz is the most impactful character is because he's the Hindi guy, if I can put it that way.
Like
So I don't know.
Lundri is the funniest line. The funniest
Exactly.
moment.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
I found some of the English lines really funny. I mean, yeah, maybe it's just because I love like the
Of
Veer
course.
Ras line
Yeah.
where he's like, right before you cut his head, the goat thinks it's going for a walk in the park. Was like one of my favorite lines. Because he's talking about Imran Khan saying, "No, I'm happy. I do want to get married." And he's like, right before the goat gets his head cut, he thinks he's walking.
My favorite line was when they are all in his car and Kunal Roy Kapur says to Imran Khan, "Look, I know this is your dowry, but it's an ugly car. It's like if a donkey fucked a rickshaw."
Yeah.
I thought that was very funny.
Yeah.
I also love Did You Wash Your Ass With My Juice? Which is like
I,
that.
I won't be able to drink orange juice again.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
at the end you see him drinking orange juice in the balcony when they're standing.
Bro, the
Yeah.
amount
Also,
of loop closing, they're obsessed. They were like closing like an infinity amount of loops in this.
Yeah.
the funniest bit, it always makes me laugh, is when in the jewelry store they are in a burqas and Veerdas is waiting for them, and this guy brings juice and water, and he picks water and he tries to
And
drink
he
it,
just-
Yeah.
forgetting
Oh
that his
shit, I
face
didn't
is
notice
covered.
that. Oh fuck, I didn't notice that. Oh
Yeah, he brings juice and water. वो juice
Ah.
लेने जाता है, but he stops. He's like, no, can't drink orange juice. Then he takes
yeah.
water and tries to
I
drink it and
love
spills it.
I love the bit where like Imran Khan like he shoots at someone and then he goes to put the gun in his pant and it burns him because of course it would, like it's still smoking. So he's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love little
Yeah.
moments like that where they take a regular trope. It was very like 22 Jump Street, if you remember. Like Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum are trying to blow up this van, and the explosion just never happens as cinematic as they think. So they keep waiting
Yeah.
for it to blow up, and they're like, "Arey, this was a tiny explosion." So I love that as like they did this a lot in this movie where they take a cliche
because
and they flip it.
in that movie, I think Jonah Hill was actually respecting his own boundaries.
Oh my god. Jonah Hill. I forgot. I totally forgot about that, you know.
Okay, guys, we've been speaking for about 90 minutes. We have to wrap up soon. My producer is going crazy. She has important things to do in her life. So just a couple of small things I want to mention. The character who's playing, I mean, the actor who's playing Poona Jagannathan's ex is an actor called Rahul Singh. He was also in Zubeda. Do either of you remember this Eno ad that he did because of which he got famous? Where he essentially is talking to the camera and he's like, एक तो एसिडिटी और गैस, ऊपर से ससुर जी कह रहे हैं एक और लड्डू, and then the screen washes over with Eno and is like, लड्डू हो जाए लड्डू.
Yes,
So just
yes, I
closing the
remember.
loop on the flatulence.
Wow.
He's always
Amir-
been involved with poop. So you know.
There was apparently plans to do a spin-off to this called Disco Killer, where Amir Khan was going to play Disco Killer. It was going to be a spoof movie, but it never took
Bro,
off.
I'd love that. That would be awesome.
If you see, even in this movie, when the song, the last song, "I Love You Like I Hate You," fades off, there is a sing coming soon, Disco Killer, played by Amir Khan or some such, but that never took off. The alternate casting for this, initially, Ranbir Kapoor and Chitrangada Sen were approached for this.
Chitrangada
Ranbir
Singh.
in Imran Singh, I'm sorry. So Ranbir in Imran's role and Chitrangada in Poona Jagannathan's role. Do you think it would have been a different film? Do you think it would have been a bigger
It
hit
would have
if
been a
that had
different
happened?
film. I
Yeah.
think it would have looked
Karan doesn't
and
seem convinced.
slightly mature. Slightly more mature.
Wait, so
but
we're
then
saying
वो
Ranbir
थोड़ा
Kapoor and
essence चला
Chitrangada,
जाता.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ranbir. So this weird, like Ranbir and Imran have always been kind of into, like they kind of came out at the same time.
Yeah.
And they also
Correct.
have this. I think Imran Khan was being considered for Wake Up Sid. I remember that being a thing.
Yeah.
Like they approached Imran
Okay,
Khan first
okay.
for Wake Up Sid, and then eventually went with Ranbir because they were
I
like.
think
that
this
kind
can
of-
be this can be that mean. Imran can do Wake Up Sid, but Ranbir could never do Delhi Belly.
I thought
I-
you would say the ulta. Ranbir
Really?
Kapoor could do Delhi Belly,
I
but
think the-
Imran could never.
I think the man-childness of Ranbir that he captured in Wake Up Sid, you know, that method acting that he's still doing,
Yeah.
is great for Wake
The
Up Sid.
method act.
I feel if Ranbir Kapoor did Delhi Belly, then Veerdas and Kunal Kapoor would not shine as much. He would have
True, that's a good point.
overshadowed them. He would
Correct,
have
correct,
overshadowed them. And I think
Yeah,
Ranbir
yeah.
Kapoor would have more funny lines in the movie. They would have added more lines for him and more personality also, I feel.
Correct.
Hmm.
We didn't speak about Poorna Jagannathan, but I just want to say quickly, she's an Indian actress who's worked a lot abroad. She's been in Law and Order. She's been in the new Netflix show Never Have I Ever, and she has a huge, long list of acting credits. I think Veer Das's girlfriend is played by Mansi Deshmukh, who's also a great theatre actor. Her fiance is played by Zafar Karachiwala, who gets that one scene. I think he plays an asshole really well.
Yes,
good.
And
yes.
even
So good.
in the Ja
does
Chudel song,
this,
when he
he
just
does
does this and starts dancing, I
You know
thought that
where,
was
you know
really,
where
really
we have
seen.
seen him before? The very
I've seen him in a
popular
lot of
TV
things.
show Hip
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 Hurray.
Hooray. He's
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
Oh,
well
yeah.
known for that. He played Rafe in it, which is such a cute
Correct.
character. But yeah,
And
Great
he's
line
not
about
growing
you
old.
mean Chacha Chaudhary? You mean Chacha Chaudhary?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
and
So good.
it was such such a written character, Mansi Deshmukh. She was like, so I hope tum apni I hope you do big things in your cartoonistry or whatever word she uses.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
by the way, my husband, my fiance is a software engineer in Canada. And of course, the popular trope that a girl will always choose an engineer, NRI engineer over a cartoonist, an artist. It's very funny.
I
रहना है तेरे दिल
I
में
think
call
the
back.
it's a very I mean, when I look back at this film, it's almost like when comedians look at their early material where they're trying to be edgy and cool. It has a
Yeah.
lot of that vibe, but somehow
Yes.
it has a certain innocence to it also. I
Because
still love
Delhi
the line
Belly,
where go
Delhi
ahead.
Belly, no, because the producers of Delhi Belly like, brother, you can go wild, and the writers were like, yes, because उसमें
Yeah.
सब डाल दिया भाई, उन्होंने लेस्बो भी डाल दिया मूवी में, कोई जरूरत नहीं थी.
Uh,
Also, you are lesbo, were you kissing a girl? उधर भी ये भी loop close कर रहे हैं कि अच्छा बुर्का में they are kissing, and her husband looks at her and he's like, oh my god, she actually is a lesbo.
That was Amir Khan's also, again, I think Amir Khan, he was shitting on mainstream. It was also his thing about gossip and how it like celebrity gossip. Because she says that about one person to Purna's character,
yeah,
and she
yeah,
says
yeah,
about
yeah.
Purna to someone else. So it was like very much a
Hmm.
commentary on that.
Yeah.
This film did not have an interval when it was playing in theaters. There would be a message that played before the movie begins that there'd be no interval. Neither did Dhobi Ghat. So yeah, Amir was trying to do something where there's no interval. I was coming to the fact that I still find the line hilarious where Veer comes and he's like, "This girl has given me blowjob, 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 and because I'm
Great.
21st century man, I have given her oral pleasure also."
It's great. It's such a good bit.
Yeah.
Any last points you guys want to bring up, guys? Then we'll go to the rating scale and the alternate endings.
I don't have
Or should we
anything.
just do the ratings? Cool.
Yeah.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
let's do a hazard age weld scale. Karan, since you're our guest, let's start with you. So the rating scale has changed, right? Now it's not the rewatchability scale; it's the hazard age weld scale.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
our colleague Nivedita said just because something has not aged well does not mean you won't want to rewatch it. So the concept still is the same. It's the hazard age well scale from 1 to 10. 1 being it was a product of its time and it's not aged well at all. 10 being that every time you watch it, you find something new. How much would you like to rate Delhi Belly from 2011?
Man, I don't know if this is going to be harsh because we've talked so
Okay.
many good things, but like 8.5, I would say. Is that harsh?
That's a good
Because I
score.
almost wanted to
No,
go.
not at all.
That's a good score, right? Okay. Because
Yeah.
I feel like I only said good things for a while, and then I'm like, oh well, but point and a half off. I just think the point about it came off as a little sexist to me in points, and a bit like some of the crude stuff doesn't hold up as much. Some of the lines about
True.
like they use certain words very freely, which I was like, oh, I don't know about this. It doesn't work anymore. But what holds up is the clever writing, the callbacks, the great characters, the sort of like
Yeah.
it's like a comedy writer's like dream kind of like it just
Yeah.
looks like
Yeah.
all these things that they've done are just like it's like an homage to like, hey, this is what comedy writing can look like in a Bollywood film, which I think is awesome. So I would say an 8.5. I would be okay if someone still loved it. Is very like it's aged. Those parts have not aged well, but like I still think it's better than a lot of movies that are trying to be this or are like diluted
Okay.
versions of this even today.
Yeah.
Cool. One.
I would give it an 8.
An 8. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's a good score. 8.58. I also was gonna give it an 8. I think that that like you said, Karan, some lines have aged really well. And again, I'd go back to the fact that we wouldn't be able to make a film like this today. So I kind of treasure it a little more because I'm like, at least we were being a little more experimental back in 2011. So I was gonna give it an 8, and because this has Shehnaz Trejriwala looking so hot, of course I'm gonna bring that bonus additional point. So that rounds it off to a 9 on 10. Not only does this have Shehnaz Trejriwala looking hot, it has Shehnaz moaning in bed while someone is going down on her. So it was almost like a 10 on 10. Urjita, don't make that face.
I can't
But I'm like,
believe
no, I
I'm on
gotta.
screen. I'm on screen when someone has said that, and now this bit is just there, and I am there.
I just want to say I don't associate with this guy.
Look,
Listen,
मुझे नहीं
everybody
पता
has
ये
their.
क्या बोल रहा है. ये क्या
But
है?
I'll stick with 9. I think 9 on 10 is good. Um, all your digital footprints are tarnished, says Maitri. No digital footprints are tarnished. I'm saying on record, I find Shehnaz very, very hot. And yeah, that's where I stand. Wow, Urjita
Shehnaz, please come
disappeared.
on the show still, even though
Yeah,
Abbas
let's
said
do
that.
Ishq
It would be
Vishk with
great to
you,
have you
Shehnaz.
on.
Please come back. Okay, let's now do the alternate ending segment right now. All right, so this is the alternate ending segment where we suggest an alternate ending to the film we discussed, or we pitch a sequel. So, Karan, do you have an alternate ending to Delhi Belly or a sequel idea?
I don't really necessarily have like an alternate ending. I do like this idea of like Disco Killer becoming like its
Okay.
own thing. I think that's quite fun.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I wouldn't really change much about how the movie panned out. I do think that like the diamonds maybe not even being revealed at all. Maybe it would be like cool
Right.
if it
Oh,
benefited
like a
someone,
MacGuffin.
because it just
Yeah.
yeah, it just becomes like it's just there and they don't go anywhere and they're just stuck there. Maybe that's a commentary on something. But I would have liked if
Uh-huh.
like someone random in the film actually discovered the diamond, someone that's downtrodden for the whole film and kind of like is
Right.
uplifted by this. Um,
Right.
so that would be cool. But outside of that, I
Okay.
was like, like I don't want to. It's hard to think of an alternate ending for like such a tight film that didn't drag at all. You know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
I loved how
Urjita,
the
do you have
movie
one?
ended, but I just have one more. I love how the screenwriters gave a hat tip to other screenwriters by mentioning the term "hand of God" in the last scene where they show the money. And it's like I know the term because like I'm a screenwriter, but I was thinking that okay, but दूसरों को ये समझ आएगा क्या? Like, of course, it was not necessary for you to
So what
understand
is
the
the hand of God?
and the Deus ex. I keep
Deus
messing
ex
up the
machina.
pronunciation. Deus ex machina. Yes, it's that. That was the hand of
Okay.
God, right? Because they get
The
money
eagles
out
in
of
Lord of the
nowhere.
Rings. Yeah.
Yes.
No, but then
Yeah.
that is also set up, right? When Kunal Roy Kapoor says, "Ki I saw a movie where they put real notes at the top and then they have newspaper at the bottom," which is exactly what he does then to the jeweler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He
No,
Yeah,
but I
references
thought
it
right.
like,
and then he does it. Yeah.
but no, but that the reference is there. But I still felt like
Sure.
कि अच्छा
Yeah.
randomly
Yeah.
उसको मतलब वो पैसे
Okay.
मिल
Okay.
गए. It's like it's a happy
Fair enough.
ending, but out of nowhere.
Okay.
So
Okay. Do you have an alternate ending, or do you just don't
mm,
even want to contest Akshat Verma?
I don't have an alter. I feel like I'll be saying it just for the sake of it because honestly, I didn't
Cool.
feel like this could have ended in any other way.
Oh, nice. I also don't have an alternate ending. I have a sequel idea. I think all three actors are still very active, except for
Hmm.
Imran Khan, of course. I think Kunal Roy Kapoor
Lotao
and
Imran.
Veer Das,
Sorry.
Lota Imran. I think Kunal Kapoor and Veer Das have actually gotten bigger since the movie came out. So
Yeah, much bigger.
Kunal, of course, does a hilarious podcast with Anubhav Pal, which you guys should check out. So my sequel idea would be we see the diamonds being in the landlord's house, and the landlord has a son also, I believe. So now it's gonna be about how his son grows up and finds the diamonds one day, and he somehow comes in contact with one of these three characters, and they're like, "Fuck, we thought the diamonds were lost, but they're here all along." And
Mm.
this would actually follow the trajectory of Hera Pheri, where at the end of that film they
Oh,
got the money, so you just thought it's a happy ending, but then you realize, hey, money runs out eventually. So now
Yeah. Yeah.
all
yeah.
of this would be there, and Shehnaz would get another bedroom scene in the sequel,
Oh
a longer
God.
one this time.
Oh my God.
This is
All right, guys.
everything you say about this has made it less likely that she's going to be on the episode.
Oh, she's gonna be on one day. I'm a big fan, Shanas. Please come to the show. But yeah, that was our episode this week. Karan, thank you so much for taking time out from your influencer life and doing this show for us with us for almost 2 hours. Where can we find you? I know you've got like a whole new bunch of followers, but people still want more. People want to follow you, so please tell them where they can follow you, where they can check out your stuff and all that jazz.
Yeah, you can follow me on Karan_Mir. I post a lot of Bollywood content, and now because I'm famous, you probably already have seen it. I don't want to look. If you're listening to this, I'm sure you already know. Fame has
Yeah, you
not
might
gone
have
to my
shared
head.
his you might have
It's
shared his
fine.
reel,
I'm
but
fine.
please go follow his page as well. And do
Yeah, go
check
follow
out
my
the
page.
other episode we did with Karan for Ek Hasina Thi. We'll put the link in the description. That's also a very fun episode. Urjita, where can people find you? Anything you want to plug? Please go ahead.
You guys can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which stands at 11,000 subscribers as of today, which is great.
Whoa.
And my video just crossed 7 lakh views, so that's also amazing.
Holy
You can,
shit, dude.
yeah, and you guys can follow me on Instagram @Urjitawani, and please share my YouTube video with other people, because now that it has reached 7, I'm slightly hopeful that acha million ho jayega. Chalo, let's
Can
go,
you
let's go for it.
can you redirect some of those 7 lakh to like hazard age well, like a lakh of them? Just
Yes,
put a thing at the
yes.
end, like guys, listen to my
In fact, in my
podcast.
next stand-up video, I'm planning to plug in Hesitage Duel at some point.
Nice. Yes, please.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Yes,
Cool.
because
Nice. All right. And
I hate you like I love you into brackets.
all right, you can follow me on Twitter at Abbas Momin. Sorry, I'll take it again. And you can follow me on Twitter at Abbas Momin and Abbas Momin88 on Instagram and Threads also, guys. That's also a thing now. Thank you so much for sticking
it?
around till the very end. Yes, it is. Thank you so much for sticking around till the very end. Please, one last time, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, like the video, share it with whoever you think will enjoy this. And yeah, we'll see you next week with a new movie and a new panelist. And yeah, please come back and check us out then as well. Till then, bye bye. We love you like we hate you. Shanaz, please come on the show. Okay.
Oh my god, it's not.
IVM.